one I've heard works and the other one I actually use. The first actually comes from a friend of mine I used to go to school with. His name was Joe. And he was a recovering alcoholic. And as part of his recovery, he had come to this realization that he speaks without thinking. So he forces himself, before he says anything, especially when he's feeling intensely emotional, he forces himself to count to 10 before he says anything, before he responds to anything. Made conversation with him slow going, but he never hurt my feelings. He never made me feel bad. Actually, he always made me feel great. He would always say something like, "Oh wow, Joe, that's really profound." And I mean, he was a really down to earth guy, so he's looking at me like, "What?" Anyways, the other technique that I shared was actually comes from Craig Ferguson. His special, "Does This Need to Be Said?" Now, this is where the title of the special comes from. At some point, he said that he learned to ask himself 3 questions before he said something. Does this need to be said? Does this need to be said by me? Does this need to be said by me now? He then goes on to say 3 marriages it took for me to learn that. But anyways, but that's a technique that I actually use mostly on social media. And sometimes I'll see a post and I'll get like intensely emotional and I'll say, I'm going to react and I'm going to say blah, 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 blah. And I'll start typing out a comment one way or another. And then I'll read it back and I'll ask myself those 3 questions and I'll go, nah. Even if it's not something like controversial, because I generally don't get into political or religious discussions. However, even when it comes to certain topics within my wheelhouse, like I'll start formulating a response and then I'll go, nah. And even like my posts on Facebook or Twitter or wherever, I'll sit there and I'll type it out and I'll type it out and I'll type it out and then I'll go back and listen and to what I just typed out and I'll go, ugh, this does not need to be said. Or this does not need to be said by me. Or this does not need to be said by me now. This just not the time, not the place, I'm not the one. Let me walk away. And maybe it's a waste of time and a waste of effort to some people. To me, it's just, it helps me get my thoughts in order. But yeah, between cognitive whack-a-mole and being mindful of the things that you're saying and taking a moment, man, a lot of things can change and your life can be so much more peaceful. Not perfect. There's no such thing as a perfect life. And if you'll recall, a couple of weeks ago I did a show about practicing peace. You're not perfecting it. Practicing peace, practicing positivity, not perfecting it. Practicing. But these are techniques. And again, these are techniques that I probably should use a little more often. These are tools that I don't want gathering dust in my metaphorical mental garage, like my dad's socket wrench set. Actually, he probably uses it more now because he's retired. But anyways, point being, these are tools that I have used, or in the case of the take 10 seconds, that's Joe communicated that to me. These are techniques that I have used, and I know I need to keep using them. It's a practice. Life is a journey. It's not a destination. and you're going to fall down, and you're going to get hurt. But you got to get back up. You got to make some changes. You got to go dig another trench in your mind, you know? Anyways, now I'm starting to sort of battle, so let's get into the things for which I'm grateful today. Today, I am grateful for honey bunches of oats. Not only am I grateful for honey bunches of oats, I am grateful that Walmart's Great Value makes them pretty comparable knockoff. You know, like, you get some, like, off-brand cereals and you can tell they're off-brand, you know? It doesn't taste exactly the same. Sometimes it's sort of like, okay, I'll tolerate this. Other times it's sort of like, oh, no. But, I'm noticing this, especially with the breakfast foods. Great Value versions of stuff are actually really good. And I got a box of Great Value honey bunches of oats. Of course, that's not what it's actually called. I think it's called like honey oats bunches or something like that, you know. And it's actually really close to the original. So hats off to Great Value on that one. Their Pop-Tarts are also pretty comparable too. The Great Value Pop-Tarts are comparable to name brand Pop-Tarts, which, I mean, to me is freaking huge. This is kind of sort of a sub-tangent or whatever. Because off-brand Pop-Tarts are not the same. Like, Umbridge tried so hard to get me to buy off-brand s'mores Pop-Tarts, and they just don't taste the same. They don't. And she go, well, they're basically the same thing. No, they're fucking not. But Great Value, oh my gosh. Great Value, their Pop-Tarts and their cereals are very much comparable to name brand stuff. So I'm grateful for that today. Number 2, I am grateful for bees. I know it sounds really weird to say that, but you know, I got stung by a bee Wednesday, I think it was. And I think it's like the first time in years that I've been stung by a bee, because I know you leave bees alone, they leave you alone. But a friend of mine at work had asked me to go to Sonic to get her some tater tots. And she said, here, and get yourself something as well. And I went, ooh, I'm going to have a root beer. So anyways, I got stung by a bee. There's there's lots of bees hanging around there. But generally they go, oh yeah, that's Rebecca. And VIP, yo. The bees are kind of like the car hops. Like, the car hops all know me. Oh yeah, that's Rebecca. The bees know me. Oh yeah, that's Rebecca. This one apparently hadn't gotten the memo. And it stung me. But anyway, ever since it stung me, I've been thinking a lot about bees and how important they are to the world. These tiny little buzzy stingy things, you know, they help plants grow. They help plants exist. They vomit up honey so that we can hopefully get away from processed sugar from time to time. Don't think of that next time you get some honey. But, you know, yeah, sometimes those bastards sting you, but they need a damn good reason. I don't know what this bee's damn good reason was for stinging me, but man, it must have been a good one, because, you know, once they sting you, they die. But yeah, it's just, but I'm grateful that they're in this world. Even if people get really mad about them being over at the Sonic or being in their houses or whatever, bees have a purpose in this world. So I guess there's some sort of philosophy that even douchebags have a place in this world, so. But bees aren't really douchebags. We just generally don't like to be stung by them. Wasps, on the other hand, they're douchebags. Somebody give me a reason why wasps exist. I really would like to know. Like, what good do they do for this world? Do they make honey? Do they fertilize plants? Like, what? To me, it just seems like they build their nests and they sting you for no reason. Anyways, finally, today I am grateful. See, normally I try and limit myself to one food item per list, but today it's got to be 2. I am grateful for Sam's Club carbonated water. It's flavored carbonated water, and you have lots of different flavors like watermelon and peach and Fuji apple. I was at Walmart, as you could probably guess, doing some grocery shopping, and I got about like 14 or 16, I forget exactly how many of these things I got. They're like 60 cents a pop, and it's like, oh my gosh, they are lifesavers in so many ways. I love these things. They taste good, and they're cheap, and if I'm not mistaken, no sugar. I think somebody told me once that they had aspartame in them. Don't know how to feel about that, but won't get into it. But yeah, no, they taste good, and they're carbonated, and and I have some certain digestive issues. So carbonated beverages, especially when I eat, really help. And so I am grateful for the existence of these things today. So, like I said, I try and limit it to one silly food thing per day on these lists. But today it's 2. And, because I think sometimes we take for granted the fact that these things exist. Take for granted how awesome certain small things are, like off-brand cereal, like carbonated flavored water for 67 cents, And so I want to be grateful for the little things in life that make my life easier and make my life better. So, anyways, if you would like to contact me anywhere on the internet, what you need to be looking for is PurpleBecca923. That's PurpleBecca 923. That is my username on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. And with regards to Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat, I always follow back unless and until you send me something inappropriate, in which case you will be dealt with accordingly. PurpleBecca923@gmail.com is the email address, and PurpleBecca923.com is the website. Yes! Uniformity. So until next time, remember to go out there and create what you deserve. Believe that you deserve it, and create it. And then you can fly with the penguins.